What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 85. I'm your host, Cole Kmet, for episode 3. We are back in studio after the DNC has finally left us. So the Chicago traffic, though, still exists. Adam, how are we doing?
Yeah, the traffic somehow got worse.
Yeah.
At least we can get down here. Yeah, we are back. Episode 3 of the show. We are really excited. The 85 is powered by Ankin Law. Injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit AnkinLaw.com to learn more. An exciting show with Rome Odunze
Rome.
today.
Yeah, Rome. Coolest name on our team, I think.
Who else would even be in contention?
Rome's hard to beat. That's a sweet name. Sweet name.
Like Mercedes Lewis. That's
Mercedes Lewis is an all-time name. That is an all-time name. But yeah, regardless, it'll be a cool interview here with Rome coming up. Got a lot of cool insight for his first NFL training camp and some other things as well. But yeah, good interview with Rome.
And before we jump into the weekend review, I know you have a little new feature to the YouTube channel that you want to share.
Yeah, so we'll be doing this periodically, but I want the CHGO diehards, I think, is the term for you guys. We need I want you guys to send in some questions that you can ask me throughout the week, and I'll be releasing those like mailbag type episodes periodically throughout the season. So just give good questions. You get good questions, you'll get good answers. So it should be a lot of fun, and I'll be doing that periodically throughout the season.
Yeah, I think the way we're going to do it is in the Discord channel. Ideally, a good-looking video would be best with the question, and we are going to pare these down to good questions.
Yes, good detailed questions that I can provide good answers to. Absolutely.
However, if you're not comfortable being on video and you still want to submit one, you can also do a voice memo on your phone and just submit it through the Discord channel. I think that's the way to go.
Come on, we gotta throw up those ugly mugs on the video.
And we have to limit Greg Braggs to 3 videos a week.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Oh, shoot.
And none of his questions will make it.
Yeah. No. We'll just for my entertainment, I'll look at them, but they will not be thrown up there when we throw out those episodes.
Yeah. So we'll have kind of shorter mailbag videos that'll go up on the YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed here on the 85 with Cole Kmet. The channel blowing up. We greatly appreciate the support through the first few weeks. And if for some reason you missed the last couple episodes, make sure you go check them out. DJ Moore was the first guest. A really long, interesting conversation with Austin Reed.
Yeah, that was really cool. And then now we got Rome coming up, and we'll have some other guys here down the road as well. So a lot of good stuff coming up.
All right, let's look back at the week of review.
Yeah.
Things have slowed down for sure.
Finally.
Camp is over. Finally, you guys went to Kansas City last week. Nobody, or at least none of the starters played.
Right. Yeah, it was a good little trip. I think for the guys not playing, some of the starters, we were able to do some team bonding stuff. So get some dinner with some guys and hang out. So that was a lot of fun to do that. And
Kansas City barbecue.
I did not. We got Kansas City barbecue after the game, so we knew that going into it. Yeah. So a bunch of us did end up going to a steakhouse. Which was a great time. So we enjoyed that. But we got the barbecue kick right after the game, which was obviously very good. So, Kansas City game was awesome. I'm not sure what the record is for point differential in the preseason is, but I think we did pretty well in terms of point differential and all that. So, which means a lot of good performances. I think we showed off our depth throughout the whole roster, and it was cool to see a lot of guys put a lot of good stuff on tape. So, for whatever may happen to guys over these next coming days, you hope that if they're not making our team, they're making somebody else's team, and they can go earn a living that way.
Well, I do want to have that conversation with you here in a second, because I know final cuts are extremely tough in the locker room. You mentioned the point differential, though. It is the preseason. We all get that.
Yeah.
However, I did see a stat, and I don't have it right in front of me right now, so it's not. I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but the stat was the last 6 teams, I think it was, that had a point differential as good as you guys just had. All of them made the playoffs.
Okay.
And I think 2 of them made the Super Bowl.
Oh, so we're finding good correlation here. This is nice.
I think there might be. Do you think there's any correlation at all to no one puts that much stock in preseason, especially scheme-wise. We get all that. But
yeah,
I do think perhaps winning preseason games that consistently by that many points maybe is an indication of depth.
I think so, yeah. Now, say we were winning the games by, 3 3 points or one score game. But like, we were doing really well, the whole preseason. So I definitely think it shows off the depth that we got. I think you're able to see that with the lines. You talk to Austin and Brett, who were in, with some of the guys who were second, third string on the offensive line. They really didn't have any issues. I don't know how many sacks they even gave up. But I mean, it was a pretty sound offensive line unit for that second, third group, which is quite frankly kind of unheard of in the preseason. So it always starts up front with everything. But when we got the lines that we've had and the way those guys have been playing up front from 1 through 3, and I think you see those results that you can get during the preseason.
Yeah, it was an interesting preseason. I would say that. I mean, I feel like every preseason is like, then you have to hit the button for Men in Black and just erase your memory because none of it matters next week.
Right.
But and also that does happen. I feel like I can't even tell you who you guys played last year in the preseason.
Yeah, like it's funny. I feel like it means everything in the moment. The day after the game, everyone's talking about, oh, what a great catch you had, or what in a preseason game. But then you flash forward to middle of October and no one cares anymore about that. But it means everything in the moment. It means everything in the moment.
It'll mean a lot more next week too, which we will bring up towards the end of the show. All right, so literally as we are recording this episode right now, final cuts are going on. I'm sure some of your teammates some of them are getting good news, some of them are getting bad news. Take us inside the building, the locker room, just the emotions that are sort of involved. You guys are off today as a team.
Yeah.
But I know it's not easy sort of finding out guys that aren't going to make the team and just knowing the amount of work that went into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the human element of this really kicks in starting today and, the past couple of days as cuts are happening. But you got to keep in mind, like, we coming in mid-April, a lot of us, and it's a new team from the year prior for the most part. And obviously you got guys who are going to be here and have been here. But there's a lot of guys that are filtering in and out of this league, and that's most of the NFL. And so when you get to April, you start building these relationships, and you go through all of April and OTA period. We spend a lot of time with each other, obviously at practice, meeting room, in the weight room, doing stuff outside of the facility. And then obviously we get our little break. We come back in camp, and I mean, we're there from 7, 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. at night with the same people every day, and you grow really close to these guys, regardless of where their position's at on the roster. And you get to kind of cut day, and it's kind of a finale of some sorts of the offseason in totality. And a lot of guys who have been grinding to get to this point, that are just looking for an opportunity to show that they belong in this league. And that term of like blood, sweat, and tears, like there's so much sacrifice that goes in to what we do every day. And like the magnitude of it, like we go out there every day, like we're putting our bodies on the line to do this and what we love. And obviously all the sweat equity that we put into this thing, and the amount of weight you're dropping at practice on those really hot days, and all that work you put in and day out, and coming and showing up every day to put your best foot forward. And then obviously all the emotion that goes into it. This is a game that all of us in that locker room love, and we hold dearly to our hearts, and we don't want to give it up. We don't want to stop playing. And unfortunately today and during the cut days, it's it might be a finale for some guys for their football career. And so there's a big significance to that. And I think that's why it's such a hard day for some guys, because you're chasing this dream that you've had since you were 5-6 years old. And in some cases, you're being told no, and you don't know if you're going to get another opportunity. And so I just, keep that in mind for people that when you're watching, if it's a Hard Knocks episode that comes out and they're showing guys getting cut, and obviously those are all the raw moments that people want to see. But, understand that, these are real guys with real emotions, with families. And, this is a tough day for a lot of people. And also for some guys that, are kind of on the fringe that do make it, this is going to be the greatest opportunity of their life. So, it's a heavy day for sure. A lot of mixed emotions, but, you're seeing most of the guys leave at this point as you cut down to 53. But it's a tough day. And I haven't been cut yet. And I say yet because it's inevitable that every NFL player gets cut at some point. And for me, it's just I'm grateful every time that I see my name on that 53 list because I know how much it means to me, and you never want to take it for granted. So, again, tough day for a lot of guys, and it's a tough day for everyone in the locker room just because of all of those relationships that you've built that you're now going to have to be separated from, going into the season.
You guys will get back on the practice field on Wednesday, pads, I believe, and for me, as somebody who covers the team, it's always one of the weirder days.
So strange.
Because you have 90 guys out there all at camp,
yeah,
and all of a sudden you're down to 53. And sometimes on that first day, the practice squad's not even finalized.
Right.
So you don't even have a full practice squad a lot of times.
It's very barren.
What's that like as a player, like that one practice every year? Because it just seems like it would be a little startling.
That's when for me personally, when you have just really the 53 out there, because you don't have all the practice squad, like you said, that's the time where I go, holy shit. And you kind of take a step back and go, I'm really, you're just really grateful for the position you're in. Because you're like, there's only 53 of us out here. That's it. And these are not easy jobs to get. And you really take a step back and realize, how great what you did was to even make the team and to be one of 53. It's really special. So I think that point in time, you kind of take a step back, and I think everyone kind of does. And you look around and you feel how much the room has shrunk, and you realize, the significance of what you did to make the 53 that year, and just how hard it is, really.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot. You see the numbers and you put it in perspective. Mm-hmm. I saw even a tweet this morning. It's like 948 players will be cut today.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. And look, a lot of guys don't, like, when we put all our marbles into this. Like, guys aren't thinking about what they're going to be doing if this doesn't work out for the most part. I'm sure there's some guys that have backup plans, but like, you're all in on this. Like, this is all in, and if shit doesn't work out, then you figure it out later. But guys are all in on this thing, so it's a shakeup when it doesn't really go your way. But that's part of this league, and that's part of this business that we're in.
All right. Well, we know one guy who's 100% on the team, 9th overall pick in the draft this year.
Yep.
And Rome Odunze, who, as you said, probably has the coolest name on the team.
Yeah, coolest name. Top 10 pick, but also a top 10 person. I mean, dude is awesome, and he's doing stuff in the shadows that no one notices at times. But you see him. We were at the hotel in Kansas City, and no, we're not playing in the game. He's not playing in the game. But like, you walk past the receiver meeting room, who's in there watching film by himself, Rome. So he doesn't even know that. I probably know that. But I see those things. Coaches see those things. Obviously, the front office and all those guys, they see those things, and that's just a testament to the type of guy that he is, not only as a player but as a person. So cool interview here with Rome, but I think he's going to be a special player for the Bears for a long time.
All right, well, let's jump in, and here is Rome Odunze.
All right, welcome in Rome Odunze, the man of royal blood, I guess we just found out. And I think the coolest name on the team, Rome Odunze. Give credit to your parents for that one. Where does this podcast find you, my man? Are you still at the hotel?
I'm still at the hotel. I just got my place today, so my mom and brother are in town to help me move all my stuff, and I'm excited to get up out here.
Yeah, it's been probably a long time for you in the hotel. What is it, like 30-something days?
Yeah, it's been like 30-something days, plus like all the hotels and stuff you stay at like during the process of combine and draft and all those things. So I've been accustomed to the hotel life this past few months.
Yeah, it's definitely probably a long time coming to you from leaving Washington, draft, all the offseason stuff, and now training camp. So now we're finally heading to week 1. But looking back kind of on the training camp deal, how'd you feel it was your first time? I know it was a long one compared to some others you've probably had in college, but how'd you feel throughout training camp this year?
I felt pretty good. I think, coming in, I just had a mindset to learn. I think that was my number one objective, and I think that's exactly what I did. Came in, just evaluated my skill set, seeing where I was at against, NFL players, and then just being able to improve on different things, my route running, my catching, all those different things. So, and it was awesome, as well as being able to do that while bonding with you guys and, being able to chop it up and just be on the NFL level. So it's something I'm super grateful for, but yeah, I'm excited to get into some real ball.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. kind of like you, I had a veteran that I really looked up to when I was playing as a kid, and so I had Jimmy Graham, who was my veteran when I came into the league, and I look at you, and you got Keenan, and you obviously got DJ to look up after. What has it been like, being in the room with those guys? What have you gathered from them? Obviously, two different types of play style. But what have you learned from those two being in the room for the past couple months?
I've learned a lot, honestly. Every time we turn on a tape or whether I'm out there on practice, like I'm watching their reps just because, like, I don't know, they're savvy of the game. The way that they play, like you said, is different. They have different styles. So just trying to, take little bits and pieces from them to try and create my own style of play and the wide receiver I want to be as well. But, I tell people some things you can't watch, like Keenan doing. Like, I'm like, that's something only Keenan can do, or that's something only DJ can do. So, I try and take a few things, but I learned a lot from them. And also in the locker room, I mean, you already know they some of the funniest guys on the team. So, yeah,
they are pretty funny, that's for sure. So kind of going back, from when you left Washington to now, what are you seeing playbook wise compared to college to the NFL? How has that transition been, learning the playbook, looking at defenses? I know that's a big adjustment for a lot of young guys coming in. For me, seeing pre-snap, post-snap rotation and all those type of things is tough to do, especially when you're playing a defense like ours. But how has that transition been, kind of learning those nuances of the game?
Yeah, I think it's been good. My college, UW, taught me well. I think, they had a lot of great minds over there just, coaching me up on defenses and stuff like that. But, there's definitely some nuances to the game that I'm learning at this level. And being able to go against, the Chicago defense, like those guys sing super well. They're always on, assignment sound and know where they need to be. So it's allowed me to learn a lot, especially in the run game, just being very specific with my assignments, knowing exactly where I need to be, who I need to block. And like you said, like the safety rotations, just being able to pick up on those things and do it just a little bit quicker so I can play faster. But it's been good. I think Shane's done a great job of putting it all together and making it easy for us to remember and continuing to develop our chemistry with.
Yeah, and speaking of our defense, I mean, obviously we got some pretty good corners. Tyreek's young, but he did a lot of great things last year towards the end of the season, and then obviously Jalen, being a Pro Bowler and the guy who he is out there. What's it been like going against him in one-on-ones? Have you been able to learn some things from him, going against him every day in practice, and how do you think that'll fare for you this season? Getting that competition and those reps throughout training camp.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, it's a blessing to be able to go against guys like that. It was kind of like that in my career at UW. I got in there and I was going against Kyler, and I was going against Trent McDuffie, who I'm pretty sure was all pro last year as well. So it feels very similar to that. Like, when I first got in, struggling a little bit, like trying to get open, trying to catch the ball against them in one-on-ones, and it's difficult. But I continue to learn things and continue to figure out their play as well as figure out exactly what I want to do within a route, and that just continues to build my game. So to be able to go against them is a blessing for sure. Like, those two are definitely some great players, and the corner room as a whole is a great unit, and definitely going against Kyler as well now at the NFL level is something that's awesome because got to play against him in college as well.
Okay, yeah, so going back to UW, or really whenever, back to high school, whatever it might be, I think every guy's got a moment in their career when they know they're a little different and they can be a guy to make it to the league. What was that moment for you? Do you remember that?
I think mine, I always tell people it's more of like a gradual increase of me recognizing that I could probably go to the league. Like, of course I was super good in Little League, like just running around scoring touchdowns, and then middle school was pretty solid. High school, like going to Gorman, like, I was a freshman. I was all right, to start. I played DN, like, to start my freshman year. You
were coming off the edge?
I was coming off the edge, bro.
Oh my God. That's pretty elite.
Yeah, that's pretty solid, right? I actually tackled DJ, I don't know how to say his last name, quarterback for Florida State. He was over there at Bosco. I got a tackle on, like, my most prideful moment.
So were you recruited as a DN at all, or how did that all work out?
No, I really wasn't recruited at all going into high school. I know Gorman definitely recruits kids, but I don't know, like, I was in the Valley. I just never got a call or nothing. And I was going crazy, middle school and stuff like that. So I never got recruited. I just came in, and I used to play quarterback, but one of my best friends played quarterback. So I was like, okay, you play quarterback, I'll be receiver. Like, we'll be a dynamic duo. And when I got there, like, I wasn't very good at receiver because I had never really been like catching passes like that before or running routes. So I was still learning that. And then, but I was always like a ball player. So I was like, all right, put you on a DN. I was going crazy. So while I was developing my receiver skills, I was playing DN.
So besides UW, did you have any dream schools before you officially committed? Like, what were some of your lists that you wanted to, some of the places you wanted to go play at in college?
When I was younger, I really wanted to play for Oregon, and that always hurts the Washington fans when I say that because that's our biggest rival. But I used to watch the Anthony Thomas and all those guys on Michael James, and I was like, man, like that looks awesome to play at. But that didn't work out. My visit there didn't work out, so they got crossed off the list. I really liked. I was thinking about playing for Miami, Oklahoma, and Duke, as well as Washington, were like my top four. So it's a kind of an odd top four, but Oklahoma had Lincoln Riley, Miami is Miami, and had great schools. So I was like all those different things, but UW had kind of all of that. So
and you came out of UW, is that right? After year 3?
No, I was year 4 because
you were. Okay.
So
I do like to ask some guys, and my brother is always curious about this with certain guys, but like, do you think you could have came out as a sophomore in college and still succeed in the NFL? I came out early, and I think I actually came out probably a year too early, but it's worked out for me all right. But I look at guys like, I mean, if you look at, I know we were talking about before the show, like Caleb and guys who are really highly touted throughout their whole careers, right. Like, could they have come out as a freshman or sophomore in high school or in college? I do wonder that. So you don't think you fall under that boat?
Nah, definitely not a sophomore. Maybe my junior year, like some people do 3 now, but sophomore year, nah, no way.
Yeah, no, I think I think that'd be pretty difficult. So just some other things about you. What does Rome Odunze like to do during his free time?
Oh man, I'm a big video game player. I'm on the NCAA most of the time. I'm in a little dynasty league or playing playing games with my friends back home. They're always online, so I like to do that. But I like to watch movies, hang out with the boys, really go eat dinner. Like I'm really laid back, really chill. So I don't got really too many hobbies outside of ball, but playing video games is definitely my number one.
All right, I got to get you into golf here now that you're here and around, so we can go out and play a little bit. I got you, Caleb, all these guys we got to start swinging the club so we can go out and play. And then one other just fun question for me. What is your final meal? What does your final meal look like?
My final meal? Ooh, final meal. I'm probably gonna go. Man, I gotta have like a full course for sure. I'll probably go sushi. Honestly, I love
Sushi's
sushi.
the go there. I love that.
My favorite foods, like from the best like sous chef, like has to be born in Japan, has to whip it up for me right there, like the best sushi ever, fresh out of the ocean. That's exactly what I need. And then for dessert, I'll probably do some peach cobbler with some ice cream.
Oh, that's a good one. That's an underrated pick there. I like that. All right, well, I'm going to turn over to Adam here. I think Adam's got a few questions for you before you take off. But Rome, I appreciate you hopping on and doing this.
Of course, man. Thanks for.
Yeah, you guys got me thinking about food now. This is a question for both of you guys. Yeah. What's the best food that they have for you guys at House Hall?
You know what? They've Rome doesn't know because I think he's only had the good food since he's gotten here. But a couple years ago, it wasn't great, and you can look at the PA grading thing, and I think they took that to heart. Credit to them. So whoever that's Kevin or Ryan or whatever, but they've really stepped up the food game. You know what? They do these mock KFC bowls, and I'll make it a little more healthy where I do like the sweet potato instead of the full mashed potato, grilled chicken, throw onion, broccoli. That's like one of my favorite things to eat at the facility. Rome, what do you got?
I really like the little sushi that they do, of course. But they have
you love the sushi.
Beef short ribs sometimes in there. as well as the oxtail. Ooh, I gotta go oxtail for sure.
Oxtail is good.
Have like making like jerk day, and that's always fire.
So Rome, did you? I mean, being in Las Vegas, did you go get into the seafood once you got to Seattle? Because I mean, the seafood in Seattle is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, nah, it's crazy. I was already into the seafood when I was in Vegas, and it's funny. Me and my family are like, man, we don't know where this fish is coming from because there's not any body of water close with the type of fish we're eating. So, but the sushi in Vegas is actually pretty good. But yeah, it's definitely when I got to Seattle, I was like, okay, yeah, I was definitely eating some imitation fish because when I got to Seattle, I was like, okay, this is some real like fish. I could tell this was in the ocean, and it's amazing out there in Seattle for sure.
All right, back to I have a couple football questions for you. One is Keenan Allen said multiple times during training camp that you're already a better route runner than he was when he was a rookie. And
wow, that's a nice compliment.
Yeah, that's coming from one of the best route runners in the game. Did you hear that quote? And I mean, what's your reaction to hearing Keenan Allen of all people say that about you?
Man, I was like, that is much appreciated for sure. I think, he's had a couple opportunities to say some, great things, and he always has said some great things about me, and that's really appreciated. And, I think my game is getting there. That's a big compliment. That's some big shoes to fill, talking about Keenan Allen. But I'm like, man, he's been playing receiver in the NFL longer than I've been playing the receiver position. Like, that's crazy. Like the crazy thing about it. So for him to be able to say that, that's awesome. But I don't know, 12 years ago, I don't know what the route running was looking like. I think it was a little bit different back then. So yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah, that is a good point. The level of receiver in the NFL over the last decade.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you look at guys, some of the 3, 4s, 5s that teams got, it's really impressive, especially when you go out and just run routes in the offseason. I mean, some of these guys got crazy explosion. You're like, you're a 6 wide receiver? Like, it's really crazy. But there's some talented dudes now at that receiver position. And they're getting paid, too. I mean, yeah, CD and all those guys this offseason. It's good for you, Rome. You just got to wait like 4 years, but, it'll be good.
I can make some plays, and then we'll have that conversation for sure.
So let's talk about your quarterback a little bit, because I mean, you wouldn't remember this, but when you spoke at the combine, I think it was me. Someone asked you, if you knew Caleb that well yet, and I think at that point you guys didn't really know each other that well. But by the time the draft comes around, you're taking the same flight to Detroit, and you get drafted together. Just tell us a little bit about how that relationship started coming together in the spring.
Yeah, it's just continuing to build. I got the chance to go out and throw around with them and catch some passes at USC when we were going through the draft process and stuff like that. So that was something that was awesome. Got to ride on a few planes with him. Meet his family, and it's been good. Developing that relationship off the field. Caleb's a great dude, and he's fun to be around. Real lighthearted, and someone that I think you want him to go out there and make plays for it, and that always makes it easier when you're out there on that football field. But yeah, on the field as well, continuing to build that relationship, that chemistry with them, which is definitely something you got to build, because Caleb, he's got that playmaker factor where he's scrambling for 30 seconds and then throwing it 60 yards. So something I'm making an adjustment to, but it's been going well for sure.
We were laughing before we went live here because you were talking about Caleb Cole, and you were like, you won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, that was why. Like, I was sitting, we were just at breakfast the other day, and I'm not that I didn't know it, but like I didn't put it together because he's another year removed from it, right? Like, he didn't win it just recently.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I was like, holy shit! Like, you won the Heisman Trophy. That's freaking nuts. Like, that's a wild trophy to win. And I'm like, where is that? And he's like, it's in my house and next to like a Lego set. I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But no, it's pretty wild to have like such high caliber players now that are coming in, like Rome, Caleb, and obviously the guys now that we got throughout free agency and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, that did. I was like looking at, I'm like, you're a freaking Heisman Trophy winner. That's pretty dang cool. It's pretty dang cool.
Yeah, Rome, we were also talking about the Hail Mary game that Caleb had in high school. That's like considered maybe the greatest high school game ever played. Did you have any moment like that in your high school career? Maybe not to that level, but just like a crazy game that you played in that just went wild, where maybe you were involved in some big play at the end?
Oh man, I don't know if I had any like that one. That clip was crazy. I remember seeing that clip. I didn't know that was him either. And then
I didn't know that. I didn't know that till literally just the other week that was him that did that. I remember watching that when it came out, and I just didn't put two and two together that was Caleb.
Yeah, I think they played in the team meeting, and I was like, who is this? They're like, oh, that's Caleb. I'm like, oh shit, I've been seeing this clip for a long time. But I never really had no came down to the wire type of games, honestly. You know, I had a few games where you know, we had like a game, like a winning drive, but there was no like last second throw it up, catch the ball, Hail Mary type of plays. I wish I got that in college, or I got some game-winning close drives in college, but never in high school. Not too many talented teams out there in Nevada. We was great.
Well, I understand you guys, this is now your full-time job, so you're always grinding. But I coach high school football right now, Rome. We had a 5:30 practice this morning because the heat out there. Did you guys ever have 5:30 practices?
No, I'll tell you what. If I had a 5:30 practice schedule in high school, I think my dad would forget to drive me in the morning. Yeah, I don't think I'd be showing up to that. My dad would not have any of that. But credit to you. You guys are putting the work over there at Carmel.
It's game week. We got a game Friday night.
That's wild.
Oh my God. Game Friday night, practice this morning. Yeah, you guys better go undefeated, bro.
So remember that though, when you're complaining about our schedule, just remember that the Carmel Corsairs are getting up at 5:30 in the morning on a Tuesday to get their work in. So we can do the same.
Bro, I can't let them outwork me, bro. I can't let them.
Hey, at least you guys don't have to go to class all day.
No, that's true.
That's
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, I just thought of this. This could be fun, Rome. So every year before the draft, we do like a whole draft database. I put a lot of work into it, and I want you to rate what I wrote about you before the draft, okay? Okay, so you can be critical of what I wrote, although I'm not gonna lie, it's mostly positive stuff. We had you as the number 3 overall player on the entire board.
Woo!
So, sounds like Ryan Poles was on the same page, by the way. So we had Caleb number 1, Marvin Harrison Jr. number 2, and then you were number 3.
Oh, come on. I don't even know. I've never watched Marvin Harrison tape, but I just know Rome so well, so I'm going to defend him.
I don't blame you. All right, here's what I wrote. One of my favorite players in this year's draft class, Rome Odunze, would be an outstanding consolation prize to Marvin Harrison Jr. In many ways, he reminds me of a bigger DJ Moore with polished routes and the ability to pick up huge yardage after the catch. Odunze is really good at tracking the football and making mid-air adjustments. His contested catch rate is ridiculous. Odunze would be an unbelievable compliment to Moore in the Bears offense. And I probably wrote that before Keenan Allen was signed too, or traded for. What do you think?
Yeah. That's pretty good. I mean, I would change the consolation prize for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
That. So now, Rome, just so you know, we had DJ on, and now Adam has successfully insulted 2 of our receivers. So we just need Keenan to come on here and him say something shitty to Keenan, and then he hit the trifecta. But
that'd be perfect.
Yeah. So thanks for Adam for that. Well, Rome, appreciate you coming on again. I can't tell people enough watching how impressive you've been throughout OTAs, training camp. You're like the perfect rookie. You keep your mouth shut and just you come to work every day. No, seriously, and it's not easy to do what you're doing, and I know that you're competing for the ball as well with amongst all the rest of our guys, but you come to work every day. What's been impressive to me is your willingness in the run game and how much better you've gotten that throughout the course of camp, and just to see the work you come in, man. You're going to be a special player for this team for years to come. So again, appreciate you coming on, and we're looking forward to the season.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me. Man, you've been a perfect vet for us. You know, speaking up for the team, always going out there and putting in that work. So, I appreciate the commitment, bro. I'm trying to find my way within so many great players and a great team. So, super blessed to be a part of it, man. I mean, from Chicago, playing for the Bears in Chicago, man. I mean, in my heart, I see you already as a legend, but I know you keep striving. So, thank you.
Appreciate you, Rome. You're the man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
The 85 with Cole Kmet is presented by Ankin Law. Howard Ankin is a third-generation lawyer in Chicago and has built one of the largest injury law firms in the state. Howard Ankin is a member of the Illinois State Bar Association, Illinois Trial Lawyers Association, the American Association for Justice in Washington, D.C., and president of the UIC Law Alumni Association. Ankin Law has over 90 attorneys and staff, is based in Chicago, with offices right off of Dearborn in the city and in Rosemont, Schaumburg, and Orland Park. The leading filer of workers' compensation and personal injury cases in Illinois, Ankin Law practices areas such as auto, truck, and rideshare accidents, slip and fall, premises liability, workers' comp, medical malpractice, Social Security, disability, and wrongful death cases. And when it comes to Ankin's commercials, the Ankin Law brand, it's been aligned with Chicago sports for over a decade, and they especially like to associate with Chicago athletes long associated with Chicago or from Chicagoland, such as Iota Sumo, Nicky Lopez, Chris Chelios, and now Cole Kmet. With an intake department of 16 people, including 2 attorneys, Ankin Law takes the time to listen to the people who contact them, even if they don't sign the case. They try to steer people who contact Ankin Law in the right direction to get the help they need. After all, Ankin Law is injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit ankinlaw.com to learn more. And the 85 with Cole Kmet is also brought to you by Circa Sportsbook. Tight money line splits, the low hold model. You've heard about it. Games that strive to be at a -110 split on the Circa Sports menu. Unlike other sportsbooks, which may use -115 or -120. What does that all mean? It means they're taking less of your money off the top. They have high app limits. They're transparent. They encourage bettors to go download and explore all sports betting apps available. You compare the lines from each sportsbook, and you're going to see Circa has the best ones. Their customer service is outstanding. Real people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion. Unlike other books who use chatbots, and all aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. Download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates, and they are with us for all Cubs Friday 120 clubs. If you or someone you know may have a problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Text GAMB to 833-234 or visit areyoureallywinning.com. Well, Cole, I managed to do it again. I think I'm just, you know what I think? I'm just trying to motivate the wide receivers is what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to give them a little bit of bulletin board material to elevate to an even higher level.
Yeah, let's go with that. So now you can just take credit for any good game DJ and Rome have now from here on out.
I like that.
All right, yeah. I guess so.
It's a win-win for me.
Yeah,
here I am trying to compliment the guy.
2 for 2. What was it? Consolation prize?
Consolation prize, the Marvin Harrison
Holy cow,
Jr.
the disrespect in that. I don't even. Did you realize how disrespectful that was when you read that or no?
I think right when I read it out loud.
Or you thought, oh, I have him at 3. That's good enough.
See, this is where. Well, it was good enough. I mean,
but that's not how we operate.
I know.
We don't think like
this
that.
is why I actually want to talk about this because in my mind, in the
he's
media
probably
world,
pissed he wasn't number 1.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, right.
And you guys hang on to every single slight,
absolutely,
as you should, and just like I would if I got compared to some other media guy. And I'd be like, no, I'm, They never.
I'm a way better reporter than Adam Johns. Way better.
Yeah, 100%. But
100%.
No, in all seriousness, because Rome, most people love the Rome in the draft, but I think we definitely had them the high. Most people didn't have them number 3 overall.
Okay,
I'm viewing it as
compared to other sites, you had him ranked higher.
Yeah, we were especially for the Bears, we're and we all looked at it realistically, Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't going to be available.
Okay,
because he was almost certainly not going to get past the Cardinals, which ended up happening.
Right,
and I think the Bears felt the same way. So that's why, the wording and how I write it, it's a consolation prize. But yeah, now that when you read it to him,
that
was a.
That's all right.
That was a jerk move. By
there's
me.
Another guy. There's another guy that probably won't be coming on now anymore. So
I think
I'm kidding. We'll get them both back on. We'll have an episode where anybody that Adam slights, we'll just bring back on, and they can just go at you.
That's fine. That's fine. That's awesome.
That's
all right. One topic I wanted to bring up, because the biggest thing, as there's no games this week,
right?
The biggest thing that's probably going on in the football world is everybody's fantasy football drafts.
Yeah. So that's now.
That's like, yeah, there's like most people have their drafts between right now and, obviously before next Thursday's game between the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Yeah.
Which kicks off the season. And I know you have strong thoughts on this.
Yeah, I'll start with this. The good thing of fantasy football is it helps promote the game, which I'm all for, and it helps everybody involved in the NFL if you're playing fantasy football. So that's a good thing. There's obviously a revenue component that's great and gets people watching the games. But that being said, I do think it promotes bad football watching. So someone who has, one catch for 6 yards, doesn't necessarily mean that they had a bad game, in my opinion. Maybe some fantasy people would disagree, but I think that's where you got to go to the tape and understand what the coach is asking guys to do, what maybe the game plan was for that week, and all those things can dictate, your targets for that week or whatever it may be. But so I just think it promotes bad football watching at times, and I would implore people to go beyond just the fantasy points to determine whether or not somebody had a good outing out there on a Sunday.
Yeah, you were saying like 2 of your highest graded games.
Yeah,
have been games in which you had basically no stats.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, look, and I've had games where, like New Orleans last year, I had 2 touchdowns, and I think Arizona I had over 100 yards. Like, yeah, I've had games where I've graded high, and I've also put up good yards as well. But no, I've had some of my best graded games from between my coach and myself have been like the Raiders game last year. I played really well in, where we ran the ball really well, and that was a really good outing. I think that was that Tyson's first start? I can't remember.
Yes.
But yeah, we got the win that day. But yeah, there's games like that happen all the time where guys play a really good game, and maybe they don't put up the stats that you're expecting. But yeah, that all I'm saying with the fantasy is just because a guy had 1 or 2 points for the week doesn't mean he had a bad game. But that being said, keep signing up for fantasy football, do your thing, and keep the money flowing there.
Well, I think you should get fantasy points for having the key block on a touchdown run.
Yeah, I guess, though, how would you quantify that?
I have no idea.
You know what I mean? I love that.
Like,
idea.
Incorporate, like, I don't know. You get like a PFF bonus score.
Oh,
like
nice. Yes, now PFF, the PFF's the standard.
And you get like a bonus at the end of the week. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that could be cool. You could do like a fantasy league of PFF points. I don't know how that would work. How guys grade out. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I'm saying with the fantasy. Just do your homework going further than just what the stats show.
Yeah. I think it is like you're watching two different ways, if that makes sense.
Sure. Well, I think that's also what makes the NFL, why it's the most popular show on television in America right now, is because you can get somebody who knows nothing at all about football and find it fascinating just because of the violence aspect of it.
Yeah.
You can get somebody who knows, maybe the average fan who just kind of knows what they're looking at and understand, run past stuff a little bit here and there, and they can get involved in the game that way. And then you got guys who can literally just play chess out there and understand full concepts, and you can dive deep into, maybe what the coordinator's game plan was for that week based on the film that they put out and what they were trying to get done. And so there's just a wide spectrum of fan that I think the NFL hits, and I think that's why it's doing so well right now and why it's in its heyday.
All right. Well, good luck to everyone in their fantasy football drafts.
Yeah, good luck to everybody. Yeah, good luck to everybody.
Don't screw up.
Cole, you're going to hate this, but if I promise to draft you, will you promise me 10 TDs this season?
See, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can promise you that I'm going to do my job playing and play out, because that's the standard that I hold myself to.
All right, well, I'm taking George Kittle then.
All right. That might not turn out too bad for you.
Man, you're putting him on the spot there.
I know you did.
I did.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, well, let's get to our keys to the week, which it'll be nice next week. We can actually talk about a game that's coming up.
A real game.
Yeah. But you still got a week here. You got some practices this week and then some time off this weekend with Labor Day weekend. Keys of the week presented by Circa Sports. Download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app.
Keys of the week. I got the 3 R's this week are going to be rest, recover, and refine. So make sure, you like that? Very poetic.
Did that come straight from Flus?
No, it didn't.
It sounds like it did.
It didn't. Maybe he'll listen and use this though in the team meeting. That'd be pretty good. No, definitely a good time to kind of to rest and recover from the long camp we had starting back at July 16th report date for the rookies and July 19th for the vets. So we've been at it for a long time. So this will be good to kind of get everybody healthy, heal up on the bumps and bruises and whatnot, and then just a little mental reset as well when we're outside the building. So that'll be good. And then the refinement point, we'll have a couple practices this week, some walkthroughs, just kind of refining the details a little bit, crossing our T's, dotting our I's on some offensive things before we get into full game plan mode the following week. But just kind of a good time to take a step back before we really get into this grind of the season here. And I think it's 6-7 weeks before we get our first bye after that, after the London game. But so this is just a good time to kind of reset ourselves before we head into week 1.
Okay, this is actually a good transition because you've mentioned many times over the last 3 weeks how long camp's been.
Yeah.
You want to make it longer?
Not really. No. No. Yeah. Well, this is where it plays into it. We're talking about the off-season stuff. There's been talks of, I don't know what's been out public.
Here, I'll tee it up so you know what's public. Here, I'll say what's public.
What to say and what not to say.
I'll tee it up what's public.
Okay.
And then you can
kind of
fill in what you're allowed to talk about.
Sure.
So, because this did come up in the summer briefly. I think we were in OTAs because some questions I think were asked to players. And there was a lot of pushback right away.
Yeah.
So the NFLPA, and you've been a part of these discussions, would like to refine, speaking of refining, the offseason program to, if I'm understanding it, you can explain it better than me, but basically guys won't have to come in as early in April, kind of shorten the voluntary portion of things.
Sure.
Technically, training camp would be starting earlier, but it'd be more of a ramp-up thing, and the whole point of it is to hopefully let you guys enjoy your off seasons a little bit more, but more importantly, the medical behind it is like that ramp up and shortening that time where you're just off, like the 6 weeks before training camp. You guys think will keep you guys healthier? Yeah.
So I'll go into what I kind of want it to be and what I think it should be, because it's my show, so I can dictate, say what I want. But so like right now we report, just so people at home know, I don't know how much really the off season is really covered, but usually we report back April 16th, mid-April. And teams that have a new head coach can report at the beginning of April, which we did a couple years ago. So they get the 2 extra weeks. What I think I'd like to see is just a shift in the off season, because we'll go from April towards the middle of June, and then we get 6 weeks off, and then we go right into training camp. And I think what I'd like to see is just maybe shift down the schedule a little bit where, guys aren't having to report right away back in April. I mean, that's a quick turnaround for guys who have just been playing in a AFC, NFC championship game or the Super Bowl even. So you're talking a quick turnaround there. And I'd like to see it where, we're reporting closer to training camp, and then there's a build up into training camp. Guys are more likely to be in shape going into camp that way. I think you'd see less soft tissue injuries throughout camp. So that's kind of what I was thinking and kind of what I would like to see. That way, guys most guys are not living in the city they're playing for. Guys got homes somewhere else, whether it's in Texas, Florida, California, wherever they may be. Kind of allows you to really have a true off season with your family. You're not having to move your family back and forth, and you're able to spend a good 4 or 5 months with your family before kind of heading back to the city that you're playing in. So yeah, I know the ramp up period in my head would still looks very similar to our OTA period, where you're in for 4 or 5 hours, whatever it is. Get meeting work in, light practice stuff, and weight room things as well, and then from there we just kind of transition into training camp and go on our merry way.
So I felt like when this went public in the summer, there was some immediate pushback.
Yeah.
From probably both media and some players.
Yeah, no, I know there's players that want to keep it as is.
But do they know enough about? Because like not all the players are involved in this, right?
Well, I'd say this: it depends like what player you talk to, and that's where it gets difficult. If you're talking to, a guy who's on his second or third contract, that's really solidified on a team, and he can afford not to go to the OTA period. He doesn't need to go. So he doesn't necessarily need to show up, and maybe he even has a bonus for that offseason, but he's willing to forfeit it just because he doesn't want to show up, and that they can do that. Whereas if you got a guy like we were talking about earlier, guys who are fighting for roster spots, they're going to be at every single team function they can be at. So that's where it just gets a little weird, and you want to make sure that there's still those opportunities for guys to show up where they can. And where they can, earn paychecks throughout the season because you still get paid for showing up during the offseason program. So guys that, that might need the cash flow during the offseason and want to be part of that there's still that option for them. But I think that's where you see guys who are like, no, I'm good. It's because, they don't have to show up anyway, and they show up at the camp time anyway. So I'm a guy that likes to go to the offseason program. I think it's important to gel as a team and to have that time. So if there's team functions going on, like I'm going to be part of it regardless of the time of year that it's at. But I just think that there's a better way of going about it and a better way of doing it. And I think kind of making it more aligned with the training camp schedule, I think allows guys to be in shape and to get in shape before you hit the ground run with pads on during the training camp portion of the season.
What do you guys think will be the biggest pushback that I'm just picturing coaches being like, no, we need you in the building in April so we can start the install?
Yeah. I think for coaches, you got to understand from their thing, like this is how they've always done it. Yeah. And it's like they've planned vacations around that their off time's kind of built around this schedule, and guys and specifically coaches who have been around for 10, 15, 20 years, they're used to the schedule and it works for them. And, I completely understand that too. Unfortunately for them, just the reality of it. That being said, it's a negotiation between owners and players, not the coaches don't obviously they have input maybe with what they're going to tell the owners, but that's kind of where the negotiation lies in terms of if we want to figure that out. But yeah, I'm sure coaches will want to see guys earlier, and maybe that there's flexibility with however they decide to go about those negotiations with that. So we'll kind of see where it lands. But like I said, that's kind of where I would like to see it. Where it ultimately falls, who knows? And shoot, maybe we, you go through this thing and we get to a point halfway through the season where we're just like, we're just keeping it as is and we'll go with that. But yeah, I always think that there's a, like we said, with refinement. I think there's ability to refine this thing to make it even better so that players come in more healthy and can have longer careers for one and be healthy throughout the season.
Well, that sounds like the selling point to the owners.
Yeah.
If guys are gonna be healthier, and everybody wants that. So can you share what the timeline is on this stuff right now?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really
Where are we
know all
talking
that.
this could happen by next offseason?
Definitely could.
Okay.
Definitely could. I will have to wait and see, where things go with it. I know that there was reports about it back in the summer. But I know with the season startup, things get a little busy. But we'll see where it goes, and hopefully that there's something that we come up with that works well for everybody. And but if not, we'll just keep going and keep rolling and going with the schedule that they give us. But we'll see where it goes.
All right. Well, let me know if I need to change my vacations too. That's where my head's at right now. Do I have to change my vacations? We're not booked for July yet next year. But as they like to make fun of me, I usually take off most of July.
Hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
All right. What's your question for me this week?
All right. Question for you.
I'm kind of scared.
This is a good one. I've seen this one a lot. This is a pretty common question to ask the average person. Not saying you're average, but
Ooh, you just pulled a me.
I know I did. That's an insult there. Insult to Adam. Okay. Could you get one competitive yard in the NFL at tailback?
No chance.
You don't think so? I'm glad you said that because I would have went off if you said that.
No. I have.
Do you think an average person could? Do you think anybody that works here on set at CHGO could get a yard?
Maybe Corey Wooten.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Come on, I got to be realistic on that.
Yeah, like and I say a competitive yard because it's like it's not like a 3rd and 20 scenario where you're handing off a draw. Like it's a the team the defense knows that they got to stop you for a yard.
The only scenario in which it would happen would be like if it was a really well drawn up pitch to the outside. That the edge just got so sucked in and baited. That's the only and then even then I would probably not, get to the line of scrimmage.
Okay, so then
before someone else,
and then just going
before Kyler Gordon just killed me.
Yeah, he'd take out your legs pretty quickly. Okay, so then if you're looking at in the media room now, who would be the one person you select
to do it?
To do it besides yourself? Yeah, that you would have the most faith in.
Faith. I thought you were just teeing me up for somebody who would just get.
No, like someone that all of you had to collectively like vote on to go out there and try and get the yard.
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's got to be someone young, right?
I was gonna say like it might be.
And in return, you get unlimited access to the locker room.
Oh wow. I don't want to answer with the same guy, but I feel like it's got to be Nick.
I think it is.
Is it?
Nick's got the youth.
He could run. Maybe if he gets outside.
He tried to do that.
I don't think getting outside is the play for anybody. In my opinion, you got to have crazy speed to even think about going outside.
Well, that's why Hulk here wanted to take the pitch.
I think is nuts. I think that's nuts.
Speed's going to be the asset there.
I think that's crazy.
I feel like I have pretty good perspective on this too because I have played pickup basketball with a number of NFL.
Right.
I used to play basketball against Martellus Bennett.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that was scary enough.
Yeah.
But I could hang with him, I played defense against Tariq Cohen and stayed in front of him.
That's impressive too.
Sherrick McManus, incredibly shifty.
Yeah.
These are guys that I've played basketball against and more than held my own.
Oh wow. Okay.
And even with that perspective, I have no chance to get a yard.
Yeah,
in the NFL.
I don't think so.
No chance.
One competitive yard is. I don't think people realize that. Maybe they think they could do it. How fast things are going out there and how physical it is.
The tush push last year with the Eagles. Maybe I could have just stayed behind Kelsey.
Oh, okay. Gosh, you're right. Maybe. Wow, that could be the.
Tush push.
Yeah, you might be right because you're not doing anything.
I don't want to take anything away from Jalen Hurts.
You're just taking it and getting pushed from behind, and then he's catapulting forward. Yeah, no, you might be onto something there. Okay,
underrated.
I could maybe accept that.
Yeah,
I could maybe accept that.
I think the only way, and I would definitely be on IR after the play.
Cole, how many yards are you getting if you're in that situation at running back?
Well, now I've done that. I've done the under center at running back. I don't think I'd get a yard. I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
Yeah. It's so fast. It's so fast. Yeah, I don't think I could get a yard. A competitive yard, meaning like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. The defense knows it's a run scenario. They're defending the yard for the first down. I don't think I could get the yard in a tailback scenario. I've actually done it.
Yeah.
Under center. So, but at a tailback position, I don't know if I could do it.
I think with good blocking.
Yeah, and then, I don't know the mechanics of taking a handoff, too. I've never done that. You know what I mean? Like, actually... Wait, no, I take that back. I've done that, too. What the hell am I saying? I took a jet sweep against Miami for 9 yards.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I can't do it. You're right. What am I saying? I can't. I've done it. I can do it. I've done it.
My favorite... Yeah, but that's still not, like, going up the middle. Does that make it even more impressive?
I know. I think that's even more impressive now that I did that.
Yeah. Good for you.
All right, sweet. Yeah, awesome. Great.
we
cool.
got there. My favorite one of the plays where you were under center was when you pitched it to Justin.
Oh, that was sweet.
Detroit, right?
Yeah, that was cool. Like a 45-yard gain.
That was a cool play.
That was awesome. It was funny. I kept carrying out like my play fakes. I don't know if you've watched, like I always carried out my play fake. Yeah, it was just funny. I wouldn't get a loaf on that play. They give loafs to the quarterbacks if you don't carry out your play fake.
Yep.
So I had to make sure I carried out my play fake so I wouldn't get a loaf on that play. But that's just kind of a fun tidbit there.
Oh, you guys, how many loafs have you gotten?
I think the first time they did the grading system, and it was aggressive. to kind of make a point. Like the first preseason game, I think I played like 15 snaps and I had like 5 loaves. I was like, holy cow.
You're like, what did I do?
Yeah, that's insane. But no, it definitely gets guys running. I'll tell you that. Because even if you think it's like, oh, that's stupid, like it's a dumb loaf, like it sticks in your head a little bit, and you make sure you're not putting that on tape.
Well, 3 years in, even in the preseason, I think it has made a difference because the way and I'm even talking about like some of the second, third stringers the last couple weeks in these preseason games, the way defensively some of those guys are rallying to the ball.
Oh, yeah.
It looks way different than the other preseason games you watch around the league.
For sure. And I mean, I noticed it too, though, when we practiced, like when we had Cincinnati in, and nothing in Cincinnati, but like they're not like I don't think they practice as intensely and as fast as we do, and you could feel that when we were on the practice field.
There was a weird energy difference there, wasn't there?
So weird. Well, first it was no fans, obviously with the rain, but I felt that too. It was weird. It was a weird day. Yeah.
And you were obviously only focused on the field you were on, going up against their defense, but from my vantage point where I could see both fields and my eyes were kind of going back and forth, like, first of all, the Bears defense talking way more than the Bengals defense was.
Yeah.
And then they just the same thing. Like it almost seemed caught off guard.
It didn't feel like Indy at all the year prior.
Oh, that
like it just it was weird. It was definitely weird. I think the rain had something to do with it.
Yeah, I'm sure people had their guard up a little bit more because of the rain.
Yeah, it was a weird energy for sure, but it was still good work. Work. So
all right, well, that was a good question.
Yeah, that was good. That was good,
and I'm glad I didn't get yelled at for it too.
That was awesome.
All right, well, Labor Day weekend. Next week's a game week. We'll see who I can insult on the show next week.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Adam can continue to successfully insult more. We don't need that. We don't need that.
Definitely not assaulting.
No. Yeah, continue to insult more of my teammates. So again, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Episode 3. Hope you enjoyed the interview there with Rome. Should be seeing a lot of good stuff from him this year, and I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we need to get to 10K subscribers, so please subscribe below. Please subscribe. So appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.
And the 85 is powered by Ankin Law. Injury law made personal. They're here to help. Visit ankinlaw.com to learn more.